Okay, so just let me start today's recording. The questions one by one. So week 2. I think my voice is audible, right?
Yes, sir, it's all
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
audible.
yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. So the first question of today is to determine the period of this particular signal, that is sine of 1 plus pi n by 6. There are four options there. First one is 6 second, second one is 12 second, third one is aperiodic, and fourth one is 12 pi second. Okay, so just let me solve it. So the signal is sine of 1 plus pi n by 6. Now when just we want to say a signal is periodic, suppose we have to judge whether the signal is periodic or not. So basically after some particular instance the signal will have the same values. So just if we see like this, for a particular value this these two waveforms are like identical, but after a particular duration. So that is the duration after which both the signals will be periodic. So we can judge it whether it is periodic or not by the following thing, like there is a signal x of n, okay, and we have to say whether it is periodic or not. So the reason is, suppose we take a value n plus n, and what will be the outcome? It should be x of n, and this should be valid for all the n's. Like it should not be for a particular n is equal to 0 or n is equal to 1, rather it will be for all the n values. Otherwise, suppose these two are the signal, another signal is like this. So at this particular point both the signals will have same value, but that is for a particular small n, if it is the small axis n. For that reason it should be for all the n values, and at that moment we can say n is the period of the signal. Okay, so just let me write the actual thing now. So the main condition is x of n small n plus the n should be x of n. Both the signals will be same after a particular distance. So the signal was sine of 1 plus pi n by 6. So it should be equal to what? Sine of 1 plus pi of n plus n by 6. Why it is so? Because see, this n should be added with plus n. We have only replaced that here. All the things will be same. So both the signals will be same. So if we solve this, it will be, this function will be sine of 1 by pi n by 6 plus pi the capital N by 6, and it should be equal to sine of 1 plus this signal pi n by 6. So can conclude it from here that this pi big N by 6 should be 0, 2 pi, 4 pi. This is because sine of n plus 2 pi equals sine of n. It is repeated with a particular period 2 pi. So particular this factor should be 2 pi. Or 4 pi or 0. So it is actually sine of n plus 2 pi into some constant k. Now if I vary the value of k, it will be 0, 2 pi, like k should be 0 here, k is 1 here, k is 2 here. So this will be 0, 2 pi, 4 pi. Similarly, from this we can conclude that the value of n should be $12. Because in the question it is asked what is the period, the smallest one, that is 12 seconds within these options. We can say also it is periodic with 24 seconds also, but it is the smallest time after which both the functions will be same. So basically this is the main period, we can say, because it comes from the factor 2 pi. Just equate like this equation, pi n by 6 is equal to 2 pi, you will get n is equal to 12. So the correct option is 12 seconds. So just the main fundamental thing was like we have to equate 1 plus pi n by 6, sorry, just let me write in terms of a function. Like we have a function f of n, we have to find what is the period, then we have to equate f of n to f of small n plus m and for which particular n this value is being solved, that is the period. Okay. Okay, the next question is, if y of t is a signal with unit magnitude between a particular time interval, and obviously it is 0 outside this interval, then we have to calculate what is the value of y of t by 2. So there are 4 options. It takes the value 1 between mod of t less than equal to 40. Similarly, it takes value 1 between 10. Option C, similar. So it takes the unit value between 20 or none of the above. Okay, just let me solve it. So just let me clarify the question. It says yt is a signal with unit magnitude between mod of t less than equal to 20. So what will be the signal? So this is the space, this is actually t, and it says it takes the value unity. That means the value is 1, y of t, within a particular interval. What is that interval? The interval is mod of t should be less than equal to 20. So this is minus 20 and this is plus 20, because mod of t less than equal to 20 means this is minus 20 t 20. So mod of minus 20 is 20, mod of 20 is 20, and it should not cross that particular boundary. So if we take minus 21, so mod that will be 21, so mod of t will be greater than 20. So it is limited to minus 20 in the negative side and plus 20 to positive side. Now the question is said we have to plot it with respect to the axis t by 2. The question is, what is the value of y of t by 2 in this axis? So it was t in the first, and t has the value minus 20 is bounded by minus 20 to t to 20. So when we think about this axis minus t by 2, this particular signal will be from what? Minus 40 to 40. So y of t is equal to y of t by 2. The signal nature will remain sort of same. We have to make sure that this should be the equivalent signals. So what happens? This minus 20 in this t by 2 axis is from minus 40, and this t, this goes to 40, so that 40 by 2 this remains as 20, and this minus 40 by 2 remains to minus 20. So that's the interpretation. Like the x-axis was t, here the x-axis is t by 2. So obviously this minus 20 value will be now minus 40, so that minus 40 by 2 remains minus 20. That is for y of t, and this plus 20 should be 40 by 2, that should be 20. So just the signal will spread out if we just divide the t-axis by a factor a. So it will spread out by a factor of a in that time. So the correct option is option A. Now let us go to the next question. Now the question is the period of the, now there is a catch, so I am just writing it in a blue word, discrete time signal. Cos of 2n by pi is what? Option A, aperiodic. Option B is 1 second. Option C is pi square second, and option D is 2 seconds. But this is the main catch here. It is a discrete time signal, not the continuous time signal. Just let me solve the question. Signal is cos of 2n by pi, and this is a discrete. So what does this means? So n can take on the values 0, 1, 2, 3, dot dot, all the integer values. But no values like 0.1 or 0.23, these values it cannot take. Okay, so again just try to find the period of the signal. So similarly, f of n is equal to f of n plus n, that formula we are going to use, and it will be cos of 2n by pi should be cos of 2n plus, just replace n by n plus n by pi. So it comes cos of 2n by pi should be equal to cos of 2n by pi plus 2 big N by pi. Again cos is a periodic signal, so cos of n plus 2 pi k is equal to cos of n for k is equal to 0, 1, 2, dot dot dot, all the values. So this 2 pi k should be equal to 2n by pi, or n should be pi square into some value k. K can take all the values, so this n should be pi square, 2 pi square, and all the values. Now we have said that n cannot take discrete values. So if this signal is periodic, n plus n, cos of n plus n, this n plus n should be integer, because this is a discrete signal. Okay, so cos of n plus n should be cos of k, and this k1, and k1 can take all the discrete values, any integer value, but not pi square values, but n is equal to pi square. So even if small n is an integer, suppose n equal to 1, then n plus n is equal to 1 plus pi square, that is a non-integer value. That's why even if this signal is periodic in the continuous domain, if it was cos of 2t by pi, and t can take any values, but for discrete cases it is not periodic. That is the reason is it is periodic with a particular time pi square, and pi square cannot be represented in the discrete domain. So the answer is it is aperiodic. The reason is periodic with pi square, but pi square is not an integer. So for discrete case it is not possible. Okay. Now the fourth question. If y of n be a signal which is 0 for the instance n greater than -2, 2 and n less than 1, which of the following signal is 0 for n greater than -3 and n less than 0. The first one is -n-2 y of n plus 1 y of n plus 3 y of -n -3. Okay, so first of all we are going to draw the signal y of n. y of n is this signal, y of n is this signal, just from -3 so said it like for n is greater than -2 and less than n equal to 1, it is 0, and this is n equal to 1. So this is 1 and this is -2, and in this here there are values 1 and 0. So within this interval it is taking the values zeros. So we have to find the signal for which it is 0 within this interval. So let me draw the output signal that is desired. That should be, this is 0 and it should be -3, there should be -2, -1. All the values are 1s except within -3 to 0, this is the desired one. As per the question. So, okay, first of all we just check with the first option, that is y of -n -2. So this should be y of -n -2. You can write it y of minus of n plus 2. So the signal y of n plus 2, how it will look? First we just draw y of n plus 2. So remember, yn is 0 within the range minus, for taking the values just writing is y of 0 and y of -1. This is taking the value 0 as per this definition. Similarly, y of n plus 2 will be like, it will take the value at y of -1 0, just this will be -4, this will be -1, and it will take -3 and -2 values 0. So it will be y of minus 3 for y of n plus 2, y of minus 3 and y of minus 2 values will be 0, because for y of n, y of 0 and y of 1 minus 1, these two values are 0. So after that there is a negative sign, so this signal will be shifted in this side, and it will be from 4 to 1, all the values, these values will be 1, and after 4 all the values will be 1, but for 2 and 3 it will be 0. So for this signal y of 2 will be 0 and y of 3 will be 0. So that is not the desired signal. Now let us check with y of n plus 1. So what is y of n plus 1? So again I am drawing y of n, is taking from minus 2 and 1, and all the values are 1. For minus 1 and 0, these values are 0. So this is for y of n. Now for y of n plus 1, it will be like this. It will take the value at 0 and at minus 3, and all the values are 1, and here all the values are 0. So particularly y of minus 2 and minus 1 equal to 0. So just check our desired signal. Similarly, the desired signal is also 0 for y of minus 2 and y of minus 1. So y of n plus 1 is the actual signal. I think this time shifted property is known to everyone for this question. Okay, now let us go to the question number 5. There is any doubt here? Suppose there are two signals, x of t is equal to a sine pi t and y of t is equal to b cos pi t. So which of the following relationship is true? First of all, y of t is equal to a by b x of t plus 0.5 y of t equal to b by a x of t plus 0.5. Option C is y of t is equal to a by b x of t minus 0.5.
ఇన్స్టాలో ఉన్నాను లింక్ సో వెతికి పెడతాను అన్నది కానీ 8 డేస్లో వచ్చిందంట రాకపోతే కరెక్ట్ 8 డేస్కి
Okay, just let's solve the question. It is a of sin pi by t, that is of x of t, and b of cos of pi t is y of t. Okay, so we have to find the relationship of yt in terms of xt. So the relationship we need to find that y of t is equal to what form of x of t. So let us just write it. Y of t, let us start from the x of t part. So because we have to replace x of t, so y of t is equal to b cos pi t, right, according to this question. So you can write it in this way, like b into a by a cos pi t. So we can write it b by a into a cos pi t, right? Similarly, from here we can write it b by a into a cos of pi t plus pi by 2. Similarly, this will be b of a into a cos of pi of t plus 0.5. So this will be b of a into, what is this function? Just write me, x of t is equal to a of cos, a of sin pi t. Sorry. So just write, we are writing it in terms of, there is a mistake because this is sine, this is sine, right? So from this relationship, cos of pi t is equal to sine of pi t plus pi by 2. From this relationship we can write this from here to here, and it is like we can taking the pi part common, and this is t plus 0.5. So x is a sin pi t, so x of t plus 0.5, it should be a sin pi of t plus 0.5, right? This is the x of t plus 0.5. So this is a sin pi of t plus 0.5. Similarly, we got here a of sin of pi of t plus 0.5. So we can write it as b of a x of t plus 0.5 from this relationship. So the option is y of t is equal to b by a x of t plus 0.5. The correct option is option B. So again, I'm just telling the steps. First we just y t is equal to p of cos of pi t, then we just multiplied the numerator and denominator by a factor of a, then we just taken out the b by a factor outside, and it is a of cos pi t. Now we replaced cos pi t by sin of pi t plus pi by 2. So this is a sin, I am taking the part common, and that is t plus 0.5 because it is half here. So that is b by f terms is outside, and the whole term is equivalent to x of t plus 0.5. So this is the right answer. So the sixth question, this is, I'm giving two signals xt and yt. One and two, and the value is 1. This is x of t. I am drawing the another signal y of t, and this is, and this value is 2, between 3 and 4. So what is the relationship between x of t and y of t? The first relationship is, I am giving 4 options. X of t, just give it in terms of y of t. Y of t equal to 2x of t minus 1, option A. Option B is yt is equal to 2x of t plus 2. Option C is y of t is equal to 2x of t minus 2. So just let me solve this question. So what is the signal xt here? X of t is one to 2, between 1 to 2, the value is 1. So just x of t minus 1, what will be? It will be the same signal, but the value is 1 here. But it will be between 2 to 3. So x of t minus 2, it will be the signal between 3 to 4 with the same value. And for x of t plus 2, it will be separated in the left side. So what will it take the values? From minus 1 to 1. Sorry, it will take the value from minus 1 to 0 to 1. Just the left vertical. A distance from 2 to 0, that is t plus 2 here. Now just see the output. It has an amplitude of factor 2, but the region is from 3 to 4, and the main thing is the t-axis will be defined by the factor how much shift it has been provided. It has nothing to do with the amplitude. So first of all, we have to find for which of these signals I have the particular correct range in the x-axis. So for x of t minus 1, it is from 2 to 3. X of t plus 2, it is from 0 to 1. And x of t minus 2, it is for 3 to 4. So this is the particular correct range, and then we just multiply this by a factor of 2. So what will happen? It will be multiplied by a factor of 2. So this is the output signal for 2 into x of t minus 2. So the correct option is option C. y of t is equal to 2 of x of t minus 2. This right signal for this one. Sorry, this one should be, I just drawn it wrongly. Minus 1 to 0 by a factor of 2, because the signal starts from 1 and is getting shifted by a factor of 2. So 1 minus 2, that is minus 1. So this will be minus 1. This will be 0. Okay. The next question. Question number 7. Again I am drawing two signals and we have to say how the signals are related. It is from 1 to 3. Another signal is from 0 to 4. This is yt and this is x of t. So you have to comment yt, how you can represent as a function of x of t. So to solve this question, first just see that the duration of these two signals is multiplied by 2 times, right? Because from 3 to 1 the distance is 2, but from 0 to 4 the distance is 4. So there is some properties in the t-axis, that is t by 2 factor. So obviously yt should be some function of x of t by 2. So just draw this signal. We follow the following rule. First shift and then scaling. So see, the signal xt is 1 to 3 and this is from 0 to 4. So if this goes against 1 to 3 to 0 to 2, and if we scale it up to a factor of 2, it will be 0 to 4. So that is the thing we have to do. first we have to shift by a factor of 1 and then we have to scale it by a factor of 2. So first shift in the left side by 1 and then scale. So the signal was 1 2 3 for the first time, x of t. So we do it x of t plus 1. So if we do x of t plus 1, it will be from 0 to 2, the t plus 1 axis. And now if we do a scaling of t by 2 plus the same, it will be, the 0 will remain 0 but 2 will be multiplied by a factor of 2, there will be 4. So this will be 4. The amplitude remains same for everyone because we are not doing any amplitude multiplication. So the relationship is, it should be y of t should be x of t by 2 plus 1. Just change this axis in this format. First shift by factor of 1, we have to do a left shift, so there is a plus 1 and then a scaling by a factor of 2. So the function that we want to find here, y of t is equal to x of t by 2 plus 1. Okay, the next question, again I am giving you two figures. One is from 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is x of t and this is y of t, that is from, this is 0 but the scaling factor is here, this is 1 by 3 and this value is 2 by 3, this is t, and we have to find what is y at t and x of t relationship. Okay, so again see, this signal is from 1 to 3, so total duration is 2, but here it is 0 to 2 by 3, so total duration is 2 by 3. So there obviously there is a scaling factor, so x y of t should be some function of x of 3t, because this width has been decreased by a factor of 2 3, so some function of f of 3t, x of 3t. So again y of t, if we draw this signal, this starts from the factor 0 and ends at 2 by 3. So there is also a shifting property, because otherwise the signal xt was from 1 to 3, Now it is from 0 to 2 by 3. So the only possible way we can do it, first we just shift it x of t from by a factor of x of t plus 1. So if we do it, it will be 0 to 2, right? T plus 1. And then if we perform the scaling factor by 3t plus 1, it will be from 0 to 2 by 3. This signal, this is x of 3t plus 1. So this is actually identical to the signal y of t. This is also 1 by 3 as per this figure. So to write the relationship between these two signals, y of t is nothing but x of 3t plus 1. So you have to visualize in which way it is moving. So first of all, you have to check whether there is a scaling factor. Like here you can see that same distance 2, but there is 2 by 3, so it is actually getting scaled up by a factor of 3. And how much deviation left shift or right shift it is getting. So these two are the main factors. Okay. So the next question. We have two signals. First one is y of t is a1 cos of omega 1t. Another signal is a2, the same signal with addition, a2 cos of omega 2t. Now state the condition of yt, condition of yt. There will be a relationship between omega 1 and omega 2, otherwise yt is periodic. What should be the particular relationship between omega 1 and omega 2 so that yt is periodic? Obviously this is for a discrete time signal. So this cos signal is periodic with what? First of all, 2 pi t is equal to omega 1 t, because this is the time period. These two are equivalent, so the period of the first signal is 2 pi by omega 1. Similarly, for the second signal, it is periodic with t2 is equal to 2 pi by omega 2. So for this signal to be periodic, t1 by t2 or t2 by t1 should be a rational number. From here we can conclude that omega 1 by omega 2 or omega 2 by omega 1, this should be a rational number. So this is the condition. The condition we are asking for. The last question. Again I am giving you two different waveforms. First one is x of n, a discrete time signal. That is taking a value 3 at value 1 and taking a value 1 at the particular instance 3. So similarly we have another signal y of n that is taking the values 3 at and 1. So again, what is the relationship between yn and x of n? Sorry, there is modification of this question. Probably something wrong there. This actual question. This is the value 0. This is the value 3. Taking the value 3, and at 3 it is taking the value 1. It is taking the value 3 at 0. At 1 it is taking the value 1. So easily the question should be, you can see from 0 and 1 it was 0 and 3, so there is no shifting here, only there is a scaling factor by 3. So y of n should be x of 3n. So again I am just repeating the question as the question was wrong there in the first time. The signal y of n, x of n is taking a value 3 at a part n equal to 0. Here at n equal to 3, here one, two, 3, it was taking a value of 1. So from here it is 0 to 1. So we have to represent yn in terms of xn. So yn, just there is a scaling factor because it was, the difference was 0 to 3, a difference of 3. Here it is 0 to 1, a difference of 1. So there is just a scaling factor of by 3. That's why it should be multiplied by a factor of 3, and there is no shift property because 0 is at 0 and 1, 3 is at 1. So there is no shifting property here. So this is the relationship. So fine, this was all for today's session. So anybody has any doubt here? Okay, then we'll meet in the next Tuesday.